Let's be a bit louder. Hello, everybody! Hello! Oh, we're almost there. Let's turn it up to 11. One last time. Hello, Glasgow! Fantastic. See, I'm from Edinburgh. I expected more from you, Glasgow. You delivered. You delivered. It's lovely to have you here, guys. Welcome to the Blue Box Gang. I know that some of you recognise the international sign for woo. The rest of you are like, what is this guy doing on stage right now? Can you just shut up and get the actual people on board?
Yes!
Yes! I know! Look at it! Oh, look at you with the umbrella and everything. Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Anyway, folks, this is the Blue Box Gang. This is the one that I've been looking forward to hosting so much. So this is part of ACME Comic Con. If you want to get involved with the conversation as well, head over to Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, use the hashtag ACME Comic Con, and they're on there as well, listed as ACME Comic Con. But, main event, please put your hands together. Welcome to the stage, Sylvester, McCoy, and Sophie, Aldred! Keep it going, keep it going! Amazing. Oh. Hello.
How's your day going? Jolly nice, thank you. A bit long, because I flew this morning.
You flew this morning? How tired are your arms then? Like, sorry, I'm a new dad. It's my right to make dad jokes now, so you know what I'm talking about, so yeah, fantastic. How are you, Sylvester?
I'm fine, I'm an old dad.
You're an old dad?
And I've done all those jokes. Much to Sophie's boredom. she used to laugh at them, and now she just goes, oh no.
Well, the amazing thing is we just were catching up in the green room earlier.
Were we?
Yes, we were. I don't remember either, don't worry. No, but I actually saw you in a Fringe show a few years ago called A Joke, which was not a great show. Which was basically, as you said, it was just an excuse for you to tell bad jokes for an hour. So we decided, instead of talking about Doctor Who, we're just going to tell bad jokes for the next 45 minutes. Is that okay with you guys? No. I'm joking, we're not going to do that, don't worry.
No!
Who's there?
Doctor!
Doctor Who!
Good start, guys, good start.
You liked that one, didn't you?
You love that one, it's okay, don't worry. Excellent. Well, it's a very exciting time, obviously, for Doctor Who fans. Give us a cheer if you are a fan of Doctor Who. I can definitely see one very eager fan right there, definitely. Fantastic. Give us a cheer if you've seen Sylvester and Sophie on Doctor Who. There we go. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to be asking some questions, getting to know you guys a little bit more. You will have an opportunity to ask questions yourself as well, so don't worry about that. Oh my word.
I know I'm a nervous actor, but this is ridiculous.
Clean up in aisle 3. Clean up in aisle 3. Fantastic. Well, okay, tell you what we're going to do is we'll take it easy on you to start off with. Okay? We're going to do a quick fire round. Okay? Quick fire. It's just one word answer, as quick as you can. Try not to think. Are you ready?
That's easy.
Are we ready? Let's do it.
Yes.
Classic Who or modern Who?
Classic!
We can't say things like that.
Contractually obliged not to.
And it kind of depends on what aspect you're talking about. You know, to be in or to watch it. So I know this is not one word, but I'm going to say...
It's just about doing
Yeah.
one word. All of it.
One word at a time.
Who is who?
All Who. Okay, do we accept that as an answer? Yeah. All Who is good. Okay. Daleks or Cybermen?
Cybermen.
Yeah, you'd say that.
Because it scared the shit out of me.
Cybermen.
Because they were male models under the...
There you go.
Me, I'm Daleks. I like Daleks. I don't like them. I mean, well, you know what I mean.
There's nothing scarier than a robot with a plunger on it, is there? It's fantastic. Okay. British sci-fi or American sci-fi?
British.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's not really any argument there, is there? It's like, yeah. except for the people who are dressed up as Trekkies right now, they're just going, oh, I don't know what I'm talking about here. What have I turned into? Excellent. How about you, Sylvester?
Russian.
Russian.
Russian sci-fi is amazing. Seen any of the Russian films, sci-fi films, they're stunning. Yeah. There's a that's a good one. I recommend that one.
Okay, we're going to get down to the really important one.
Thank
here. Chippy chips or oven chips?
Chippy chips.
Oven chips are terrible.
Oven chips are terrible.
Chippy chips?
Chippy chips.
Chippy chips. Chippy, deep fried, covered in oil.
They're the ones.
Yeah. Chippy chips? Yeah, right. Yeah. This is Glasgow, of course it's chippy chips, isn't it? Right? Excellent, okay. Sylvester, umbrella or screwdriver?
Umbrella.
Roll these
Yeah,
eyes.
there we go.
The umbrella.
What about that, Sophie? Umbrella or screwdriver?
Well, you didn't have a screwdriver when we did our series, so it's got to be the umbrella. And anyway, the umbrella was very useful.
In many ways. When it was too hot and sunny, we would stay under it and get shade when everyone else was melting. And when it was raining, we'd stand under it and be dry when everyone else was getting wet.
I love it. Okay.
I mean, what can you do with a screwdriver? They gave me a screwdriver once. In the film one, you know, when I turned into that ugly wee man from Liverpool. What's his name? Paul. And I'd never used one, so I was supposed to zap a box where the master was in. And so I zapped it, only I was zapping me. I did it the wrong way around.
Oh, I know about this.
To pixelate the film.
He was pointing at the wrong way.
I did not know how to drive a sonic screwdriver.
Brilliant, love that. Okay. Doctor or companion?
Companion.
Love it. Okay. TARDIS or public bus?
I thought you were going to say public toilet.
So did I.
At my age, it's public toilet.
With the Final Fantasy dual photo shoot taking place with Colin Ryan and Beth Walker.
They're both unreliable. I'd say TARDIS because you can go to the most incredible places. Whereas
Public bus get used.
buses goes to bus stations. You watched that once, didn't you?
I did what?
Yeah, something about buses.
Oh, in Doctor Who, there was
Ghost Night.
Ghost Night, yeah. Love bus stations. Love bus stations, hate bank toss.
When I was 14, I went to London from Dunoon, and those days there was no means of communication except by phoning, pigeon, I think. And the Twist came to London. Tommy Checker came to London with the Twist, and the Evening Standard in the London paper had a cartoon of how to do the Twist. So I got that, I got the LP, and I went back to Dunoon. When I got to Dunoon, I brought the Twist to Dunoon before I actually got to Glasgow. And I was on a bus one day, and a wee boy got on behind me, and I heard him say, "That's Sylvester, he's the Twist king at Dunoon." And that was my first moment of fame, so I like buses for that reason.
That's the name that we will know you by now.
That'll be
It's
on my-
afternoon.
Yeah, I'll be on my gravestone.
I love it. Yes, excellent. Okay. Dennis or Nasher?
Dennis.
Oh, yeah, because she voiced
I
it.
mean, it's tricky, isn't it? Because do you remember the Dennis the Menace fan club badge? It was Nasher with the it was fluffy, wasn't it? And it had those boggly eyes.
Wait, she was with Dennis?
Yep.
When you moved it.
Wow, both of them.
And I love
I didn't know
Nasher.
that.
I only found that out yesterday.
Dennis.
Yes. I was going to say a bit biased, but yes, absolutely. Yeah. Brilliant. Great choice. So that's what you think.
Well, I knew from my childhood, Dennis here, didn't he?
Dennis the Menace.
Nasher didn't exist when I was here. No, it was just Dennis and Menace. I remember rightly.
There we go. Okay. Okay, this one's Sylvester for you. Bilbo or Frodo? I love how that one got the
Bilbo or Frodo? The Bilbo! Because I nearly was Bilbo. I was up for the film 12 years before the Hobbit, and they had
He nearly said before Johnson.
half a dozen people, and they whittled them down, and they kept saying, don't do anything in these dates, don't do it. And then they got to the last bit of it, and they said, there's 2 of you left. And now, of course, the other was Ian Holm. So if Ian Holm had not done it, I would have been Bilbo Baggins.
Wow.
So that's why I like Bilbo.
That's the alternate universe version.
And my hair ended up being in Bilbo Baggins.
Did it?
Yeah, because I mean, Ian Holmes' hair was always short. But if you look at Bilbo Baggins, he's got this hair, and it's exactly what my hair was like when I auditioned for the part. So I didn't get the part, but my hair did.
This is like when you apply for a job and they make you do an exercise and they use that exercise but don't hire you, isn't it? That was, you work with Rudolph. Fantastic. So like 3 people got that. Excellent. Okay, thank you very much for the quick fire on there. Let's go back into Doctor Who though. Like, what was it like for you working together on Doctor Who?
Should we tell him the truth? Tell him the truth.
I think it's time.
It was bloody marvellous.
It was so great because I'd never even been in front of a TV camera before. And I met this chap, and we got on straight away, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Yeah, you laughed at all my jokes.
Yeah, well, they were funny then.
Because that was the first time you ever heard them.
Yeah. And also, we share a birthday. I don't know whether that's got anything to do with it, but
Yeah, and our politics was similar. You know, we just hit it off. You know how you do, you meet someone and bang, you become, you know immediately, they're a great friend.
And that's the important thing when you work together as regularly as you did on TV. You've got to have that chemistry, don't you?
Yeah.
yeah, I think it was wonderful though, because I was also learning everything from him. And
Poor thing. So that's why you're such a big upstager now.
But you know, all the sort of tricks of the train and the little things that you added as well.
Yeah.
It's made me a better actor.
Aww.
Thank you. So, I'll send you my bill.
I think we agreed that before.
Amazing. So you guys were like sort of part of the first, I call it the classic Doctor Who, and you sort of punctuated that sort of classic Doctor Who. What was it like sort of being part of that era, sort of being sort of the final note on the Doctor Who?
Well, at the time we didn't know it was a final note. We thought it was a revival because the final note they tried to do with Colin Baker when they stopped making Doctor Who then. And what's his name? The guy around the BBC.
Michael Grade.
Yes, Michael Grade
Much better.
boasts that he killed Doctor Who.
He didn't.
He's a liar.
Yeah, he didn't. It wasn't him.
Because he was in charge of Doctor Who when Colin left.
Yep.
And John Nathan Turner took him to America and showed him how much interest there was in Doctor Who in America. And so he came back and they revived it. And I was the one that revived it. And then Michael left and went to run Channel 4. So he wasn't there when it finished. But he boasts that he did. So he's telling fibs.
It was the head of series and series, wasn't it? A guy called Peter Brigine. And he wanted to bring in new stuff. So he had this idea of his own for a programme, which he thought was going to, really take off and take over from Doctor Who. And so he killed off Doctor Who, and El Dorado lasted.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we were replaced by El Dorado.
That was a memory I did not want. Wow, I forgot about that. That's the interesting thing. So Doctor Who, your run finished. Doctor Who was, for all sakes, dead. It was killed off. But then, of course, it wasn't. It was brought back.
Yes.
The TV movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
But before that,
Dimensions in Time.
it never died, and it was because of the fans.
Yeah.
The fans started writing their own stories and getting in touch with Sophie and I, and said, "Would you come and film this?" And we'd go to funny little basements and do a lot of scenes in the toilet because the sound was good. And that was a spaceship taking off. Someone having the
You pulling the chain?
Yes, pulling a chain. I'm pulling your chain. Anyway, yeah. So it never died. It was the fans. And what's wonderful is now the fans have taken over completely, because the 21st century doctors they're fanboys, weren't they? They're the showrunners. Chris was
all there's Chris Chibnall, Stephen Moffat, and Russell T
Yep,
Davies
they're all fans.
Are all they cut their teeth on doing things like audios and well, before Big Finish, there was BBV, who was doing the Finishing
Zycon and Pingers.
Stranger videos. There was always this great, and now it's a complete melding of fan and actually people who are making the programme, which is wonderful, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's great. I mean, I was at the 50th anniversary in Australia when Stephen Moffat was there, and we all went out for a Japanese meal afterwards. And of course, Stephen Moffat at the time, he was the big producer, he was powerful, and he's got great personality. I mean, he commands a room when he comes in, and so, oh my God, the producers. He sat down next to me here, and we were having away, and then after a few sakis, he turned into a fanboy. It was amazing, really. He just sat me, and he knew everything. I mean, he became like, really excited. And he was going on about when he was little and when he watched them, and it was just wonderful to see that, in fact, he was, just any of you could be doing the same as he did, and if you could write.
When we went recently to do the Tales of the TARDIS, all of us were taken out.
Still not watched that.
Whoever was in, whether it was Janet Fielding and Peter Davison or Wendy Hadley and Fraser, we all were taken out for a lovely meal in the evenings, and
by Russell
T Davies and Phil Collinson. And we got to the Ivy, didn't we, in Cardiff, and I've never seen anything like it, because Sylvester was sitting there, and Russell, who's huge, I mean, he's a
giant of a man.
Toby Haydock. This is a brilliant description of Russell T Davies, which he made. He said, he's a giant guffaw of a man.
All right, yeah.
That was brilliant.
Yeah.
And he was sitting next to Sylvester, and he was so excited, and he was like this, and he had so much to say that he was hardly even listening to your answers to his questions.
Oh, well, that's common nowadays. Nobody listens to anything I say.
Wanted to talk to Sylvester so much because that was the first time you'd met.
Yeah, we'd never met before. Yeah, it was. It was great. Lovely man.
It's amazing. It is amazing sort of like a fan's journey can be inspired by the show to then go on.
Yeah, right.
To be part of it. Like, what's your experience with sort of the fan base in general? You work with people who are now working on Doctor Who who are fans, but you're coming to these events here, you're meeting people who are fans here. What's your experience like with these people who are fans?
Well, after 37 years.
You want me to answer that question?
Not honestly.
When I got here alive?
Don't worry, there's a secret answer.
Yes.
No, I mean, well, we both love it.
It's a family.
Yeah.
It's again talking about the crossovers, and there's all ages, all genders, all sizes, what I love about coming to these conventions is that everybody is included. And everyone is part of the family. And I think that's so exciting. I just said actually to Susan, who's looking after me today, wouldn't it be great if the cabinet came to a Comic-Con and saw how everybody interacted with each other and how accepted and inclusive everything was here? Wouldn't that be amazing? Because this could be a possibility for the world, if more people knew about it. Wouldn't it be wonderful if this was what the world looked like?
Yep.
That'd be better.
Yes. It's someone with a comb in their head.
Exactly. And doesn't it look marvellous?
I can't decide if you're cosplaying as a TARDIS or as a statue in Glasgow.
Where's your horse?
Where's the horse? No, I totally agree with you. I love, for me as well, I'm a fan of like, so many of these different franchises, and I genuinely love coming to all these Comic-Cons or these conventions and just seeing everybody like expressing themselves, being themselves and feeling comfortable. It's a safe place.
I know.
I think I agree with you when you say that's what it is. I love about this place.
When I was offered the job, I got the job on Monday, and then on the Thursday I was flown to Atlanta, Georgia, to a convention in America. And I didn't know what a convention was. There weren't many over here in Britain. And afterwards, the producer said to me, "You've taken to this like a duck to water." I just wanted to embrace. I mean, that's I like to get out in amongst the fans and really be there with them. It's great. It's such a privilege we have to meet such wonderful people who love something so dearly. And there's so many touching moments all around the world we've been where people come up and share their love of Doctor Who, which they shared with their mum or their dad, their grandfather, or someone special in their lives. And that is, there's not many programs you hear about that really. And it's happened a few times today. And I always find so touching, it really makes it well up a bit inside. And how people have said we've helped them through terrible times. They knew that at the end of the week they had Doctor Who to look forward to, so they could get through that week because they had, and all that, which is miraculous and so privileged and wonderful for us, to know about and humbled by it really.
Amazing. You sort of touched on a little point there actually. You got the job, you got flown out to Atlanta to sort of American convention. The comic convention, sort of America versus the UK. Would you say it's more mature over in America? What's the differences? How have you experienced it?
The Americans are much more. They're less shy. They're kind of much more excited and excitable. We're very British over here. And we're very Scottish, aren't we?
Yes.
I think they find it a problem standing in a queue.
No one queues
They
like
have
us.
queues. Actually, no, that's not true. They do. It's very similar now. In the olden days, you wouldn't see cosplay very much in Britain, whereas cosplay was already a big thing in America. So that for us was a surprise, wasn't it, when we went over? Because we'd seen all these people in the most incredible costumes from science fiction shows, and but now it's really come over here. The British fans have embraced this wonderful self-expression that cosplay affords them, and I think that's great. So there isn't really that much difference anymore, is there?
If you're looking across this audience right now, there are some genuinely amazing cosplayers. So well done to every one of you as well. A round of applause for all the cosplayers behind us. You look phenomenal. So
I just spotted, look at that Patrick Troughton there with the hat on. That's brilliant.
Sure as your flute.
does he actually? So you talked about just one last question from myself before we open up to the floor and we're going to go through questions. You've worked on Doctor Who, that's sort of the big thing, but you've mentioned it earlier, and teased them earlier. You've worked on other franchises as well. So you worked on Dennis and Asher, Sylvester, you worked on The Hobbit, and of course, more importantly, still Game. What was it like sort of going across?
He just smiled at that.
I know.
Different franchises, and how did it compare to Doctor Who?
Well, the Hobbit one is interesting because, the stories of the Hobbit are also very popular in Germany and Northern Europe because they're all part of the folklore. And so in Germany, they're really big into the Hobbit. And when we used to go to conventions there, the majority of people who came to the conventions were young ladies, 80% young ladies, and they were all dressed up as dwarfs. And of course they had beards. And I never know I was going to enjoy being hugged by so many bearded ladies in Germany. It was astonishing really. But, very different kind of The Hobbit and Doctor Who's very different.
I suppose I was very lucky that I had running alongside Doctor Who. I always had this presenting career, children's presenting in particular, and did a lot of children's TV. So that's always wonderful, meeting children and now older children who watch those programmes, like somebody was mentioning Melvin and Maureen's musicograms just earlier, which my husband thinks is the best work I've ever done, which I'm inclined to agree. And then more recently there's True Food Tom, for example.
Oh, yeah.
The real True Food Tom, because I did the voice, obviously, but the little boy, the little boy at
David
the beginning
Tennant.
and the end of every programme is going to be turning up a bit later. He's 6'2" and 24 years old now, but he's still True
It's crazy seeing people grow up. I saw a post on social media the other day. Is one of the babies from the Teletubbies son now has a child themselves. And I've never felt so old seeing the post. But that's lovely, guys. Thank you so much for sharing those stories with us. We've got a bit of time though. I'd love to open up to any questions in the audience. If anyone has a question, please feel free to use this little box here. Oh yeah, you want to come and join? Ask any questions, that would be amazing. We've got a microphone on its way. I love it how there's already people. So I'm not waiting for anybody else. This is my time. Excellent. Oh yeah, if you want to form an orderly, we're forming an orderly queue, and I think these people are going to bribe you. There we go.
Watch the ball.
Yeah, there we go. There you go.
I was just wondering what your experience was like on Ramsey Nisbet.
Ramsey Nisbet. Yes, I played his brother. I was a lunatic who escaped from the lunatic asylum and lived in his wardrobe. It was really, when I read the script, it was very funny, but when I did it, it was very sad. And Elaine, Elaine C. Smith, she was watching one of the scenes we did, and she cried. And I came off and said, I could be funny, but it turned out to be a really sad character I played.
Wonderful. The actors are better than one that from East End.
All right.
Lindsay Smith, yeah. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Next.
Oh, okay. I'm just going to go now.
I wanted to ask, what was your favourite story for both you and Sophie on Doctor Who?
Well, I mean, for me, it's the Daleks, really, because the writing was so brilliant, and there was a beautiful scene in it where I'm having coffee, tea, and sugar, and we drop this sugar in, and there's the ripple of the sugar, the water, and the tea, and all that, and the ripple of slavery, and it was about something serious, and yet it was also great fun. One of the great Dalek stories, I think. What about you, Sophie? Did you?
Well, I love the Dalek story as well, of course, because I got to beat up the Dalek with a baseball bat for the first time. But it was my first story as the companion, and I was still a little bit wary, nervous, finding my feet. So for me, my favourite story was The Curse of Fenric, because I thought that Ace had an amazing gamut of emotions to run. It was a brilliant story in all sorts of ways. So that was my favourite one.
Thank you.
Great question.
Oh, you want more?
No, that's all. Thank you.
Next.
Hello. Sylvester, I'd actually like to ask you this. What was it like working with Ford Kieran and Greg Kimble on Still Game?
Still Game, yeah, that was great, yeah. I was, because I'm out now, they love you. The thing about Still Game was I didn't see it, because it wasn't been shown in London when I was then.
Yes.
And so I didn't really know much about it. So when I came, I did it, and then two things were interesting. Was that my character had been locked up for 40 years in a house and didn't come out, and so they showed him New Glasgow. Well, I hadn't been in Glasgow for years, so there was no acting. I mean, I was actually going around.
Oh, right. Oh, my.
The only acting was McDonald's. I hate McDonald's. I mean, I'm trying to say it's it's poison. Anyway, so I went there, character. So that was one of the interesting things about doing it. But the other interesting thing was after it showed in Glasgow, every time I came back to Glasgow, I'd walk down the street having completely forgotten about it. It was only a half-hour thing in my life. And people would shout, "Hey, Archie! Oh, you're in! Oh, hey! I see you, Jimmy! You're in!" And I didn't know who they were talking about. And it was me. And then when they did the big arena, did anyone go to the arena plays of Still Game? Anyway, they did it next door. There was a big arena one, 10,000 people, and I was doing a play at the Tron. So Sunday night, they were on, so I went along to see them, forgetting I was Archie. I walked into this big thing, 10,000 people going, "Oh, Archie!" and I was like, it shocked me really. Like I wanted to hide. Anyway, thanks for that.
Cheers, thank you, Sylvester.
Hello. The walking.
My question for Sophie. Taking you back to 2000 TV, what was it like working on Zap? And follow up on that, if you had to pick Mini Magic Oh, smart arty.
That's a tough one.
Sorry.
Actually, you could do a good the mini magician with that cone
You're
in your
gonna
hand,
ask a question.
couldn't you? Oh, I love doing
Not
that.
us, Sylvester.
It was
What was it like?
great.
What was it like
Because
working with
I
Ford and
love,
Greg and
as
Stoker?
well as doing
Oh.
He's in that, yes.
I didn't know that.
acting. I also, much like Sylvester, I like
See, you
to
ask
do
it.
raw
Or here you ask it.
comedy, slapstick and character work, and I'm not often cast for that.
What I just found
So
out
this
is hilarious.
character playing the
He hadn't been in
magician
Glasgow for 20
actually
years, so his
also
acting is genuine.
which was
Hasn't
really
been.
good.
It was brilliant.
Quiet, red hates to leave. We have the Mahia and Martel. Yes, we having no line.
Oh, did you my
Anyone who
question?
wants it, anyone who enjoy it.
Yes.
So I have to focus on the word.
Exactly. So it's again very inclusive, and I think it was a wonderful programme, Zach. But yeah, mini for me is the one, definitely.
Thank you. Great question. Thank you.
Someone's gonna have this.
Yeah, this is a question for you and Sophie. Were there any episodes of New Who that you wish had been done during your time? Like any episodes you wish you had been the Doctor?
I cannot believe I just found out. His
For
acting's
me,
genuine in
the
that.
Sleeping
That's
Angels.
amazing. His acting's
I mean,
genuine.
I thought they were amazing.
His acting in that
actually.
is genuine. That's
I'm going to be
amazing.
I was in Sweden once.
That's
It was
amazing.
an English bookshop
I'm going to do that.
in Stockholm, and I was doing a signing there, and it came out, it was dark, and there was a church with a steeple, and there was an angel on the steeple, and the light was shining at it, and it looked like one of the weeping angels. And so I came out, and I was walking like this, and I walked out to the middle of the road, and I nearly got run over. So, I mean, they are really dangerous.
Funny enough, I was about to say the same.
Yeah.
One of the Weeping Angels stories.
You
I had
okay?
to do that.
You okay?
It was definitely one of the most
Anybody else get
stories
better with that
that
as well?
amazing.
Thank you.
Do you think we could ever see a return for you guys in Who?
People telling them, Archie, you're right. That's amazing. I love that. It's brilliant.
Can I ask you a question for both of you? What is your favourite Big Finish audio you put together?
That's so
Right, that
hard
was going to be
to
my
say
question,
any
but I
of
changed
them.
it to still game. Thank God I didn't ask that.
I love one
Because I
that
would have
I
still.
did with Sylvester's in a sort of on the radio capacity, which is called Protect and Survive, and it's a very, very clever story which is based on a nuclear apocalypse. That's a really great one. And then, funnily enough, we did one called Earth Aid, which is one of the lost stories, which is written by Ben Aronovich and Andrew Cartmel, and they used some of the ideas that they were going to use put in the next series had it gone ahead. So Ace is the captain. You hear all this Starship Enterprise type speak, and then you hear Ace saying things like, "Yes, make it so." And then she says, "Excuse me, you have the bridge," and she goes off away from the bridge, walks up to a door, opens the door and says, "This is never gonna work." and it's Sylvester in the room, and it's a really great story.
I've seen the animated that little bit there, I think. I've seen that animated.
All right, yeah. Oh, great.
That's
Sorry, what were you asking? You could come down here.
Yeah, I'm better. Hey, let's do this again. Oh, this is better. Oh, look at this microphone. This is much better than. I was just saying, do you think we'll ever see a return to New Who?
Well, I mean, we have
already done that.
haven't we?
No, I want to do more than just one Who.
Well,
Give us some more, we'll
Yeah.
do it.
right to Russell. Come forward with your grey hair.
So my question is.
I dye mine grey because people don't realise how old I am unless I dye it grey. A picture.
Just a question for both of you. What's one of your favourite fan interactions so far?
Oh, yeah, my favourite is years ago when I was the Doctor Who number 7. I was walking down the road and suddenly around the corner came this guy and he saw me and he had a bag full of paraphernalia by coincidence, and he was going, "Oh my God, Doctor Who!" And he was shaking, and I only had a camera, and in those days it was film, and he had a big long lens, and he was shaking. I thought, "Oh, he's got a fast film in there." And I was signing all this stuff, and he said, "Oh, I love Doctor Who. Doctor Who's wonderful, and you are my 5th favourite Doctor."
Yes!
That's one of my favourite ones.
Love it. He's my favourite.
One of mine is when I was mistaken for a fan. I saw Christopher Eccleston in the street, and
Oh my God.
and I went up to him and I said, "Oh, I've always wanted to meet you, blah blah blah." And we talked for about 10 minutes, and because I said who I was, but I think he'd sort of not heard. And then after 10 minutes of this animated talking from him as well, I said something about, yeah, well, when Sylvester and I were doing it, and he said, oh, were you in it? And he said, yes, I played Ace, Sylvester McCoy's and he said, oh, and I just thought, how wonderful of him to have spent 10 minutes talking to me.
Talking to an attractive lady. I mean, yeah, and he's going to tell you to bug it off quickly. Excuse my French, but I sometimes go there. There was just one other thing. When the 50th anniversary, they were showing the film in the National Film Theatre of the 50th thing, and we came we came in from there and down to our seats. You know, fans were there and other doctors, and I followed. Who's the war doctor?
John Hart.
I followed John Hurt. So John Hurt went and sat down, and then I came across, people applauded, and as I passed by John Hurt, I leant over and said, welcome to the club, and he went, and as I went away, turned to the other person and said, who's that? Yes, I'm a doctor.
Suppose the question is, you guys have done TV, audio, and books and stuff. Is there an angle of the characters of the Doctor and Ace that haven't been explored yet that you want to still explore in the future?
Musical.
Oh my God.
Musical, really?
Ace and the Seventh Doctor in a musical.
Yeah, think of it. And the band would be all spoon players.
Yes.
Everyone would be spooning.
The chorus of the song.
Yes.
Christmas Special was musical, they had their musical number during it, so it's possible.
There you go.
Oh yeah, no, that's the great thing. When I got the job, I didn't realise I'd been
They just
handed
said
a
that-
character part.
Right,
so you could do
so if they come back, Sophie wants to do a musical of them too. Sylvester just said, I will get some spoon playing. You should have brought your spoons. And then do you want to know what he said? Everybody likes spoons.
What day is it?
If you could return with any doctor, who would it be?
If I could return with any doctor, who would I like to return with? I suppose Patrick Troughton, really, because he was my doctor. He was the one when I was not an actor. I watched, he was the second doctor, and he attracted me to Doctor Who. So I suppose I'm quite happy to work with him, and also I think it'd be really good fun. What about you? Who would you like to work with?
Sylvester McCoy.
Yeah, well, what about yourself, Sophie?
Sophie.
Oh, I'm a one doctor gal. I'm not, because
You mean Doctor Who number 1? That's what you mean, yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hello, come forward. Come forward.
What was your favourite part about returning for New Who, and also did you take anything from the set?
Did you take anything from the set?
I loved all of it. Every single minute. It was so warm and friendly, and much because of Jodie, who was just so warm, and she knew every single member of the crew and their families, and it was just like it was with him. It was a family. And did I take anything from set? Well, when I was smashing the Dalek's eyepiece, because they said you've got to hit the eyepiece because that's the only bit that will break. So I aimed and hit the eyepiece. And then there's a guy called John Davey who does sort of Cybermen and Daleks and things like that. And he said he came over and he said, "Hey, why don't you take some of those bits?" So he and I walked around every time I did another take. I thought, "Oh, good, I'm going to smash another eyepiece." And so we were both walking around going. So I've now got loads and loads of bits of Dalek eyepiece.
There might have been someone keeping an eye on you doing that, though. Did I take anything? No, I didn't really. But it was great to do, and also, but it was quite interesting because Sophie, the scene that where Sophie and I, at the end of our bit together in Jodie's thing. Sophie filmed that up on a cave up in the mountains, and so she was talking to a brick wall, and so she, didn't feel any different when she acted with me. It was the same, you see. So we filmed that, she didn't notice that at all, and that was kind of good fun. Thank you.
Maybe we've got time for two more.
Come quickly. Anyways.
I was just, it's mainly for Sophie. Did you have a favourite patrol badge on the jacket?
Oh, okay.
So hard to pick a favourite, but I think it's got to be the Blue Peter badges. Because
they were yours?
When I was however old, 10, 11, and I've kept them ever since. And then they had to check that they were my own badges. And they found out that they were, so I was allowed to wear them. And now I think I deserve a gold Blue Peter badge, don't you? For the hard work
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Blue Peter around the world.
Thank you.
During Classic, one of my favourite episodes was The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. What were your kind of favourite parts of filming?
Well, I mean, it was great fun, that one, wasn't it? I mean, because we were in what I call the desert of Dorset, which is a huge sandpit in Dorset. And it was the weather was, Italian. It was like a bit like Italian making a spaghetti western. It was so hot. But we had great fun. And there was guys with three-wheel motorbikes that we got to ride around in. It was, but the most memorable bit was at the very end. There was one shot, the very last shot, and we had to do it. There's no way of repeating it, but it was a very important one. And I was walking past the circus tent, and they told me that the detritus of the gods of Ragnarok was going to blow out behind me. So I walked past it, and that didn't happen. The Second World War happened right behind me. Explosions and heat, and I didn't know whether I was on fire. And I had to keep walking because I couldn't blink. I just had to keep going because there was no way of ever doing it again. And then, so that was very memorable.
It was a one take.
Were you there?
Yeah, I was there. I was behind the camera, and there's a fantastic.
You can see him punch very quickly.
Because what had happened was that it was meant to be detritus blowing out in a big wind. But when they got down to the deserts of Dorset, the visual effects department found that they'd left these great big fans back in London with all the stuff. So
not you guys, not big fans like you.
No.
In fact, the big fans were in the desert before we were most of the time, weren't they? They knew it before we did.
But they had to just make an explosion instead, and as ever, they miscalculated quite how big it was going to be.
All those years ago, so I wasn't frightened of it and enjoyed it. But it was an astonishing experience to see it. I worked with animals. The animals were dying, and I was trying to bring to life a hedgehog. So I was working with a stuffed hedgehog, and I kept thinking, I'm the only actor in this scene. I'm going to be in the biggest screens in the world. Just me and a stuffed hedgehog. Oh, this is amazing. I mean, nobody else around. Wonderful. And then I go to see the world premiere. I take my sons, and then my sons are going to see me on the screen all by myself with a stuffed hedgehog. The Wizards of Weta got hold of the hedgehog, and they turned me into this poor little creature. And the poor thing was dying, and the audience was looking at me. No one's looking at me. We're looking at the bloody hedgehog. I should have killed the damn thing.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Rick.
I want to ask, of all the kind of planets that you visited, which would you like to live on?
Earth.
It's the best. We need to look after it more, though.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful as well. I mean, if you look at it from outside,
I don't think he remembers.
Yes.
Thank you.
What's your favourite monster or creature?
My favourite monster? Yeah, apart from you. No, my favourite monster creature. The tetraps, the ones that we first did. They're undersung, really.
They're brilliant.
They were really good. They've got 3 eyes, and they've got they're bats, and they're
prosthetics on them are brilliant.
A mixture of bat and something else. I mean, when we were filming that, the actors who did it, because they were bats, they were hanging upside down in the studio.
I know what you're saying.
And we were filming, and they were dripping on us. The sweat. I used to feel really sorry for them. But I thought they were really good, the tetraps. You must look them up. It's the very first one I did, called Time in the Running.
No, time in the
Delta on the back.
Bye.
Delta on the environment.
This is a lot of fun. Thank you so much. Guys, give it up for Sophie and for Sylvester. And of course, if you want to get involved, get on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, post anything that you take, any photos, hashtag ACME Common God. Give it up for me again!